Alright, today we're going to be installing this Cliffy pinball protector back here behind the castle. Now, I've never done this before. We'll figure this out together, but it can't be too bad. Let's see. This is way too big. Let's try this. Alright, so I'm removing this guy here. I gotta pop that down in that hole. I'm using 11/32 by 3. So there's a piece of plastic here that's obviously got to come up, and then there's a little piece of metal around it too. So I'm gonna remember where everything goes and be super careful with this, because it looks like there's a washer on top and bottom. I always put these things in little magnetic trays. This is a Cliffy pinball protector. I got it from Passion for Pinball. Alright, let's not drop anything. And for the record, this is a Medieval Madness remake I'm installing this on. Okay, so that's there. What else is holding this on? Looks like I can go here. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to have to take off the whole metal guide here or not. Let's see. Of course. Where'd that guy go? I'll have to... Oh, there it is. Magnetic screwdrivers are amazing and can save clumsy folks like me. Whoops. Oh, now where'd it go? Back there. Well, also, quick tip, if your magnetic screwdriver stops working or doesn't work as well as it used to, you can grab your magnet and do this like you did in the 3rd grade. It should. There we go. All right. So now I can sort of pull that ramp out of the way a little bit, although I think I'm going to have to take it all the way off to really get to it. So let's just take the whole ramp off while we're here. So I installed a Cliffy on the catapult this morning. So if you're going to do this, if you did them at the same time, it would really help you out. There we go. Oh, don't lose that. I'm going to grab my magnetic screwdriver again. Okay, that's there. And there's one more screw there. Should take a 1/4 inch hex nut driver. There we go. All right, so now carefully lift that out. Are we attached? There we go. So that ramps off. One step closer. Don't know if that needs to go up or not. This piece definitely has to come off, so that means the plastic all has to come off. So how is that attached? 1 screw, 2 screws. So we'll grab our 11/32 again, which is just the magnetic version of that. 3/4 inch. Looks close enough. Let's see. All right. One bit of plastic. Looks like the other piece goes all the way back to here. And I really don't want to take this whole ramp off if I don't have to. But it looks like I might not have a choice unless maybe if I tilt the machine or tilt the playfield up, I might be able to get at that screw there that's holding that down. There's a, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a nut that's holding this piece of plastic and this piece down. I don't know if taking the castle off would help, but let's see. Like I said, this is all new to me. Well, I can take the ramp off. Seeing how this attaches. I hate taking stuff off like that because, you know, you never want to break your goodies, especially when something's as nice as this is. Plastic ramp. This magnet in this driver is super strong, so a lot of times I'll actually end up getting the nut stuck in the end of the driver if I'm not careful. Okay, that nut's beneath it. Something else holding it down here. And looks like it's spinning underneath, and I do not want that to spin underneath. We just want to remove the top. So we're going to go grab this guy. So I'm just steadying the, whatever you want to call it, the hex nut thing underneath it with a 1/4-inch driver. Not a 1/4-inch driver, 1/4-inch wrench to keep it from spinning around. There we go. It looks like it's a nut and a washer. It's hard to keep track of all this. Luckily, I've got this handy dandy video I can rewind and see exactly where I put everything. So it looks like that there. And then, oh man, I end up having to take this other piece off. So I'm removing this metal, I guess you would call it habit trail, on the front. Really don't want to drop these. So that is a little bit shorter than the other ones. So the same size or shorter? About the same. Pull this off. Alright, so I'm going to put my metal habit trails, whatever we want to call them, down there so they're out of the way. Alright, so holding this down is only down here at the end. So there should be, the 2 screws are probably holding that down as well. So I should be able to unscrew this. Yep, and unscrew this. And there's still that piece there in the middle, which I may or may not be able to get with the screwdriver. can. And be real careful not to strip these like I'm attempting to do. Absolutely don't want to strip that, so I'm going to try a different tiny screwdriver if I can find one. It's a little sharper. That's going to break off in there if I push it too hard. There we go. So I'm doing all this so that I can not even take the ramp out, but wiggle it a little bit. Whenever you do something like this for the first time, you always want to lift up real gentle just in case you miss something. All right. Just trying to angle this a little bit. This isn't a how-to video so much as it is me figuring it out as we go along. Let's see. Not that one. A little bit longer. Ha! Perfect. I think unless it's too big. Still going. There we go. So all that to get at this one nut back here. Now, lift that straight up very carefully. Oh, please don't break plastic. Well, I might not even have to take that out all the way, but I can at least get to what's underneath it now. Looks like 1, 2, 3. How do you get this? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now I've got that loosened a little bit, and we're gonna see if we can't lift up this castle mechanism here, which I've never done before. Now I don't know if this is attached underneath it or not. I think I'm about to find out. But I should be able to get to the last of the screws I need to if I do that. Get my magnetic screwdriver again so I don't lose this piece. Careful, careful, careful. All right, and then there's one more screw here. Now, with any luck, I'll be able to lift this. Wow. mechanism on that is really nifty. I would have assumed that there was a bunch of wires sticking in and out of that, but evidently not. Okay, so I'm trying to put that Cliffy right in there. So looks like I remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more of the 1/4 inch. Then I should be able to take out that piece. So these are now wood screws. Such a pain to keep track of all these little screws and doodads. Two. 3. And the whole reason I had to remove the ramp to get to the plastic part down there was so that I could reach these last 2. Four. Right here. Why don't you turn it? See if I can find a different driver here. The longer handle might help a little bit. There we go. Now, I think that's the last one. Let's see. Yes, it is. All right, so we got that piece out. Now we've got the Cliffy. And since it has never ever been cleaned back there, at least not in my machine, I'm gonna throw something real basic. Just wipe it down back there for a second. So when else are you gonna take this apart, right? Might as well. All right. So now we're back to the Cliffy, which it looks like this hole and this hole line up with that hole and that hole, and the wood, or there's a little piece that'll get screwed in on the other side. At least that's what I think is going to happen. I've got an extra screw to put in there. There we go. There we go. So you can't see it, but there we go. Perfect, actually. I'm gonna have to put a little bit of elbow grease into that when I screw it back in. I'm just trying to get it flush against the back without dumping the table on myself. All right, that should be good. So now I'm going to grab the wood screws and put this back on. I'm not going to put the whole thing back together in front of you, but we can do this little part. This cool one-way gate here. Now, I've never actually taken this apart to see how this particular machine works. And actually, looking back over this, I didn't have to take out as many screws as I did. There were only 3 that were actually attached to this. The rest were attached to the little plate for the drawbridge. Including this one. All right, so now for the hard part, which is going to be getting a screw lined up in here. So I'm just going to do 1 screw at a time now. There we go, there's 1. Now, since we're just lining this up now, I'm going to keep it a little bit loose and get the one that's hard to get in good first. Whoop. Uh-oh. Don't want to lose that wood screw. Go. Now with the wood screws you can get them pretty tight, but you still don't want to try and do a feat of strength pushing it in just absolutely as tight as you can get. And 1 more. Hot diggity dog. So there's going to be a lot of reassembly on this side now. The one thing that has to happen on the other side is there's a spot to put a screw in against the wood on the other side to keep that nice and fat, which we're going to put on in a minute. All right, so we can put these bigger nuts back on that are holding down these plastic pieces. Putting it back together is always easier, right? There we go. This was the one that was hard to get to. If I can, whoops, even remember how I got to it. Yeah, right there. Oh, come on. If I can just get this little guy in here. It's the last awkward piece. I'd really like to be able to do it without taking the whole ramp out again. There we go. Try it now. Yeah, come on. Still not quite. So this is the nut that's right next to the super jackpot ramp light down here. Or what's it say? No, super jets. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that back on there. Not like this. Let's see. How much closer can I get it this way? See, I can feel it sort of starting to grab on there, but I feel like maybe I'm stripping it. Try it by hand for a minute. Oh, no wonder it's having a hard time. I can't even get it out of my nut driver. What did I do? There we go. Let's try it in here. This is a little bit easier to, or more willing to give up what's inside it. Way too easy though. Maybe fingers. Ah! Wow, I wish I'd known about that earlier. That's easy now. Of course I got it cross-threaded. Come on there. Come on. There we go. Finally. And since I'm back here, go ahead and wipe this down. Nothing quite like having silky smooth ramps where it looks, or shots where it looks like nobody would be able to reach to clean it. Alright. Actually, normally I'd use mill wax, but I can't really get at it very well. I might as well throw a little bit of wax back here. Alright. There we go. Wonder what caused that mess up there. But anytime you have your playfield taken apart partially. You know, it's a great time to clean it, wax it, protect it, all that good gravy. Won't make you watch me clean anymore. Let's just get it back together. Very carefully without breaking anything. Alright, we're gonna line that up there and there for the ramp. But first we gotta put the castle back on. Alright, 2 screws there, 2 screws here. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is where it pays to remember exactly which type of screws you got from where. Alright, put this little guy in the back first. Looks like that's going to be the hardest one to get. There we go. 2 more on the side, 1 up front. Though it looked like, and if I remember correctly, it was missing 1 earlier. So if I put them all back, I'll be missing 1 somewhere else. Oh, that's always a good sign when you keep screwing and nothing happens. Gotta get this lined up right. There we go. This castle destruction mechanism is so cool. Come on.